What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for coming back for a brand new episode of the Lone Limit Podcast.
Yeah.
I'm your host, Chelsie. This is your host, Jay.
Hi.
Jay?
Yep.
How you doing over there, buddy? You
okay? I am good. I'm very excited that it's the end of spooky season, though. I can't lie. Hi.
I mean, I did make you go out with a bang.
Yep.
And as you texted me, I have hit my limit, a schmurda.
Yeah, I was like, I think this is enough. It's too much.
I can respect you for trying to hold it down for the last 31 days.
I did real well, I think. I did real well. I only tapped out for 2 chapters. That's it. Like, of all the spooky season, I only tapped out 2 chapters.
Yeah, but let's be real. I had to remind you that the option to tap out was there at one point. You just, like, traumatized yourself instead of just saying, no, thank you.
I wasn't traumatized. I wasn't traumatized. No, it's different. It's very different. I have had 0 nightmares, so I feel like that's a win.
Yeah.
No, listen, I don't go outside of my preferred book preferences often. So when I do, I really enjoy the experience because it's like learn something new, experience something different. It usually does reinforce why my preferences are my preferences, but I liked drifting.
Sure. We will go with that.
Yeah.
Well, don't hate me. Don't make that face. But I want to play a game with you.
Okay.
All right. Working title, IRL, in real life. This is a game where I'm going to give you a book scenario, and you're going to tell me, in real life, would that be a green flag for you or a red flag? That's all.
In my real life. Not a hypothetical real life. In my real life.
I just need you to not overthink it. Just quick, red flag, green flag. All right?
Okay. All right.
Fix your face. It's going to be okay. All right. Question number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you're out on a date with a dude.
Okay.
But your true real love is not the one sitting across from you. And your real love starts texting you, demanding that you leave this date, and starts talking crap about this date.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a green flag or a red flag?
Oh, it actually might be a little bit of a green flag.
I love that.
Yeah, it might be a little bit of a green flag. We'll have a conversation about it later, but yeah, it might be a little bit of green flag.
Listen, that's so real. Like,
if I know and the person knows that the person I'm currently on the date with doesn't really have a chance, I don't mind having a little fun with that. So
you know what? Talk your stuff, sir. Mm-hmm. Be in my messages.
Word.
All right?
Sometimes you gotta shoot your shot. You never know when you're gonna get the rock.
You know?
That is so basketball.
As Wayne Gretzky once said, you miss all the shots you don't take.
There we go. That I'm a little shocked by that, but yeah, that's a little bit of a green flag. Yeah.
All right.
Is this a one and done game?
No, there's one more.
But wait. Do you not get to play the game too?
I mean, I can if you want.
In that exact same scenario, where are you going with? I feel like I already know the answer now.
No, well, you'd be surprised. It's almost like a yellow flag to me, which I know is not one of the options. It depends on what's being said in the messages for me. Because it could come off real petty if we're not careful. And if it's petty, that's a turn off for me. But, if you know what to say,
right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then it's a green flag for me.
Yeah, but I kind of feel like if you can send me something to make me cheese, like, wow, yeah. I'm a little shocked by that, though. Because I feel like you love a good petty boots, but maybe just fictionally.
Well, here's my thing. Like, if you a man in my messages, don't be sending me messages talking about the person sitting across from me. Start selling yourself to me. Start pitching why I should leave this date. Because right now, this man's giving me free food and you just giving me a headache. So what's the difference?
Okay, so you don't want a smear campaign. You want like, hey, this is my okay, I got you.
I need your 2-minute elevator pitch, all right?
I love a good elevator pitch. Okay.
That's what I'm asking for.
Okay. All right. What's the second question?
Second question, red flag or green flag, which if this isn't a layup, I don't know what is. But your partner views your toys, and I'm not talking about the ones from Toys R Us, as a helper and not an enemy.
Green. Green.
Green.
Wait, green. Yeah, that's a green all day. I thought you were gonna say the opposite. Okay. I was gonna be like red, but no, you said it correctly. So green.
Yep. Guess what, Jay?
What's up?
You survived IRL.
I did good. Can we, like, do you take joy in, like, springing stuff up on me?
It's not that I was springing it up on you. It was one of those things where I was like, this would be fun to play. Now, do I have to come up with better questions for you? Absolutely, but... I
don't think those are bad questions. No, I think those are good questions. Just because I'm me, I would love to know the questions ahead of time, but...
No. No.
No, but that was good. That was good.
We need your honest and true reaction every time. That's what we're known for here on the pod.
I will always be honest. We don't always need my true reaction, but I will always be honest.
Okay, that's fair.
Those things are not synonymous.
So what about a question that you did have time to prepare for? How about that?
My answers would have been the same. What you would have missed was all of the nervous grinning that I did while answering.
I'm offering you a question that you already know. How about that one?
Oh, I like this. Meanwhile, I don't remember.
It's too early for me to take my headphones off, but just know I wanted to in this moment.
Oh, gosh. Okay, what's up?
All right. Today's book was new to you, not so new to me.
Right, yeah.
So I'm curious, since we're in the business of rereading things here on the pod.
That's my jam.
Not the way you do it. What is...
Judgment.
One of your... It's not judgment. I just feel like you need to throw an asterisk on that statement. That's all.
Okay. Ask the question.
What is one of your favorite books that you've reread? Party of two.
Oh, I'm literally gonna say this because it kind of saved my butt all through spooky season, and I probably reread it about officially once, beginning to end, but just like clipping through it as like a reprieve. Jasmine Guillory's Party of Two. It was the only thing that was available at the library.
I know. Listen, I'm the one who helped you find it on Libby.
Yes, no, thank you. I specifically needed an audiobook that gave me positive feels that I already knew, so I wouldn't have to have the anxiety of like not knowing what's going to happen. And I had a couple of authors in mind, and I checked those authors and what was available at the library, and I wanted an audiobook because I just knew I didn't have time to read with my eyes. I didn't. So I was like, I needed an audiobook. And Jasmine Guillory's Party of Two was available and as an audiobook, and it felt like a hug. Oh, that book feels like a hug to me. Okay. And I read it from beginning to end, no skipping. So I don't know what this like asterisk thing. Like that's what I'm saying. I read it from beginning to end, no skipping. So it counts as a reread. But there were other times I clipped through it. For me, I don't count that as a reread because I'm just like, before I returned it to the library.
Okay, I'll accept that then. I'll remove your asterisk on this episode.
Thank you. No asterisk needed.
For now. This is honestly a hard one for me because I don't reread.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna say one, but I'm putting an asterisk on mine. I would say Dom by S.J. Tilly.
Okay. What's the asterisk?
The asterisk is, so I read it once on Kindle Unlimited, and then I read it a second time as an audiobook.
Mm-hmm.
And SJ, if you're watching this, no disrespect, none. But I did not enjoy the readers of that audiobook.
Ooh, they can destroy a book.
So I will always reread it in physical form. But that audiobook is definitely sitting with cobwebs on it, even though I bought it.
Dang. No joke. So, like I said, I was rereading Party 2, but I actually started a new book because I was just like, okay, cool, light and fluffy. I just need it in my life. Yeah. And I did it as an audiobook, which even though I don't like to read it for the first time in audio, like I was like, I can't read with my eyes. I need something I can just like chill out. And it started, as soon as it started, I was like, I don't like the voice. And I was like, Jay, it's okay. Like, it's fine. Keep going. And then by the time I hit like the third chapter, I was like, I can't do the voice. And I had to turn it off. And I returned it. I was like, I can't do it. I'm so sorry.
I at least made it to the end of Dom, but yeah, no, I don't think I could go back. But there's a lot of audiobooks where I do that though, where I'm just like, this is a one and done. Don't ask me to listen to this ever again, because we're not.
Now, question though, if you try the audiobook but don't like the voice, would you go back to the physical or digital to read with your eyes as an option?
Yeah, I usually only do audiobooks if it's like a fantasy or something like that.
Yeah, you do have specific types that you like to do. Okay.
Yeah, but I also, like, for the most part, the thing is like Dom was like I'm buying this, I don't really care because it's SJ Tilly, just take my money kind of moment. But 9 times out of 10, I will search and listen to the samples of all the different audio options.
That's smart.
And then pick the reader that I like. Because you can do that even on Libby, FYI.
Yeah.
We'll talk later. I'll show you. Yep. We got this. We'll go through it later. But yeah, no, I'd be all up in that phone like, no, I don't like that.
That's hilarious.
That one might work. Yo.
Yeah, yeah, it's, I don't know, especially maybe because it's just like my first introduction to audiobooks, and that's why I didn't like them for so long, was so, that I'm like extra sensitive to it. So yeah, I couldn't rock with it. I'm surprised I made it 3 episodes. Honestly, if I wasn't playing video games, I probably wouldn't have lasted that long. It was just like, I was in the middle of a game. 3
episodes or 3 chapters?
No, chapters. I was in the middle of the game, so I was like, I'm not gonna pause it. I'm gonna just keep playing and keep listening and see where it nets out. And then by the time I hit halftime, I was like, I can't do this.
That's fair. I am curious, since I've been throwing asterisks out left and right at you today. How do you feel about counting a reread as another book read towards your goal of that year? Interesting.
This is something that never occurred to me was even really an option. So in my mind, it was like when you read a new book, it's a new book, and that is, I never really used to even like track or count books. I just used to keep track of them for the sake of like, oh, this book, I liked it, put it on like a list somewhere.
Yeah.
And now that I'm like a modern woman and there's like book tracking apps, because Goodreads has been out for a minute, but I didn't like it the first go around when I was on there, like even in its OG days. And then being on there now, even for the podcast, I think they haven't done like a ton of updates from then. So I'm like, yeah, it's still not for me. So I'm in the Storygraph corner and I'm really liking it. And so it's really allowing me to like put and track stuff. So on Storygraph, they count me rereading a book as a book read. So I'm gonna go with what the book app says. So yes, but personally, I never used to count books that way. Like for me, rereading a book is not like another book. It's just like me re-experiencing something I liked. But if my book tracking app counts it, I'm gonna count it. I think they also give you the option. I'm not too sure, but I think they give you the option of like count it towards your total or not. I don't have any like book reading goals. Like that's not really how I read. I feel like if I put a goal there, I will struggle. So it's kind of just like, I think I've already done like 60 something for the year, I think it said. So I don't know, maybe I should do 70 for the year. I don't know.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
I'm too competitive, so best believe I set a goal for myself.
Who are you competing with?
So here's the deal.
When did reading become a competition?
No, it's not even the reading part itself. So in Goodreads, when you set your goal for the year, it'll tell you based off of how many books you've read, how like behind or ahead of pace you are to complete your goal in time.
Okay.
And when that thing starts telling me I'm 5 books behind, 4 books behind,
Okay.
I catch an attitude real quick because I'm like, don't worry about it, sweetheart. Don't worry.
Got it. Okay. It's like when people turn on the GPS and the arrival time is the time to beat. Got it.
Listen, I am Dom Toretto with these books. Don't come for me. I live my life a quarter mile at a time.
Yeah. No. I personally don't count a reread as a new book because I didn't learn something new. Even I got more in depth with one. But if my tracker does, I'm fine with that. I think whatever your heart desire. Maybe that's a personal decision. Or is it cheating if you have a book goal then? Like I don't know how that works.
So I think your app will always count it as a reread. Doesn't matter which app you're using. I think it'll count it towards a book, towards your goal. Mm-hmm. But I do things slightly different. Oh God. Don't come for me in these comments, please. Number one, I don't reread. All right?
Yeah.
I think there's a total of maybe 5 books I have reread.
Are you counting the podcast or no?
Possibly. Don't ask me right now because I couldn't even list all 5 books I've reread.
Okay.
Because there's so far a few in between.
Okay.
But what I will do is like if I read it in physical form and then I get really excited to listen to it on audio, when the audio book comes out, I will count the audiobook listening as its own separate reading.
It's a different experience. I'll give you that.
Right. Now, for today's book, reading it for the podcast was the 3rd time I read it. I didn't count that towards my reading goal. That was just homework I had to do.
Got it.
There are others, I think, that I've counted from the podcast, even though they were rereads. But I think it just truly depends, you know? Because sometimes I'd be like, I don't remember reading this the first time. And then other times I'd be like, oh, right.
You like just don't remember what you read. But other people have said that too. So, I guess.
I need to clear something up, though. Jay holds on to the smallest, and I mean the most minute detail. And then will text me and be like, yeah. Well, no, I'm not mad at it. But Jay will text me and be like, so what was on her shirt? I don't know. How am I supposed to remember that one small detail that didn't... But it didn't matter to the overall story.
I had a question, so I asked it.
Or she'll be like, she'll just tell me the name of a chapter. And I'll be like, you think I memorized the names of these chapters?
When the names of the chapter are relevant to what happened in the chapter, yeah. Like... She named all the chapters after stuff that was in the chapter. Like, to the point where I actually thought it was really cute. I actually thought it was really cute because I would come across it and I was like, oh, the chapter name. Like, okay, we obviously...
Listen, I'm going to tell you right now. If you ever ask me about the name of a chapter and be like, chapter 22, I don't know.
See, it's so funny, and this is where I feel like our neurodivergence, like sometimes it works together, but then sometimes we fight each other. See, you say chapter numbers, and I'm just like, I don't know what chapter that is. And then I say the name of the chapter, you're like, I don't know what chapter that is. So
But it'll be like chapter
so
22,
funny.
keys. And I heard chapter 22. Everything after that, doesn't matter, boo-boo, doesn't matter.
See, I go, I don't know what chapter 22 is. It's after 21 and it's before 23, but I have no idea what happened. But when you say keys, I know exactly what happened. So, yeah. So, I mean, I feel like it's interesting because even like a lot of authors don't even like title their chapters. So I appreciated having those benchmarks. And when authors don't like title their chapters, I don't register them as a new chapter. Like I'm just reading. And often, like, especially when there's like dual POV, I have to be like, wait, who's talking? Because I just like keep reading. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Let's talk about something that's been on my mind for a little bit here.
You've been thinking a lot. My gosh.
Listen, y'all, I stopped caffeine, and for some reason, that made my brain work harder. It didn't make sense. All right, I think the caffeine was slowing me down. So today's book, for example, starts off with a playlist. And I'm curious, did it enhance your reading experience? Did you even look at the playlist? Did you try some of the songs out? What's your thought process here?
Do I have to answer first?
I mean, I could be disrespectful with my answer. You're not gonna like it.
Ooh, what's yours? I might want to piggyback off of it.
Listen, I looked at the playlist. Absolutely. The first time I read it. Don't ask me about this third time. I like the idea of playlist. I do.
Okay.
But if you think I'm going to sit here and listen to that playlist full of songs I don't know for no reason, sweetie, you don't know me. You don't know me. Now, if at the start of every chapter, under the title of the chapter, you want to throw in a song to give me the vibe, the essence, that might work.
Yeah.
But with everyone's music taste being so vast, 9 times out of 10, I only recognize 4 songs out of a playlist of 22.
Yeah. Okay. You're not being disrespectful at all. I actually 1,000% agree with you. So I was actually determined to listen to the playlist while reading. I was like, you know what? This is for the podcast. I've never done this. Let me actually like take the playlist seriously. And like
that was a choice.
in the beginning of the book, like I think it's like the songs are listed, but it also has like a QR code. And I was like, okay, QR code, it takes you straight to the playlist. And I was like, all right.
Yeah.
And then I looked at the songs and I knew one, and I don't like that one. I don't like that one. And I was just like, is this really going to enhance it? I was like, you know what, it's for the podcast, you should just do it. And then the playlist was like 3.5 hours long. And I was like, so am I supposed to listen to it like the songs with the chapters? Do I just put it on in the background? And then I kind of just like, I don't know those people. It's okay. And I fell off.
That's what I'm saying is like the length of the playlist does not match the length of time it's going to take me to read this book. So what are we doing? How do the songs align?
Yeah. And also like my suggestion for maybe authors and publishers is like, if you are going to do a playlist, like make it clear when the song is in the book, because I have seen authors do this and I thought it was really, really good. Like they'll naturally like in the book, it'll naturally have like this song was on the radio and that song was on the playlist. I'm like, I see where it comes in, you know, and that would make sense. And also for me, if I'm looking at a playlist and I know the songs, I super don't play it because I'm like, I know the song. So I know the lyrics, I know the moments, I can imagine it as is. I don't need, essentially like I'm like scoring it in my head instead of listening it. So it's like I don't do it. And then so in this case I was like I was excited, but I was like, I don't know none of these songs. And the one song I did know, I was like, I don't like that song. I don't want to do this. Could
you just imagine if they put one of your favorite songs on that playlist and then it ties to the most heart-wrenching, just soul destroying moment in the book, and now that's the correlation you have between these two moments.
It would literally ruin
We fighting.
it for me. This is also why I like barely watch music videos. Like people go like, "What?" I barely watch music videos because I can't tell you how many times a music video has ruined a song for me. Like I'm just like, why would y'all do that? Like the visuals don't matter. Oh, I start yelling. Then I want to start rewriting the whole script. It's a whole thing. I can't do it. So I have to like really see if a music video is safe before I actually like really watch it. So if I really want to see it, I actually watch it on mute. And then if I don't like it, I won't watch it because you're not ruining the song for me. There have been some songs absolutely ruined for me by music videos.
Yeah, there's definitely a Fall Out Boy song that I literally just woke up in the middle of the night, saw the video, and said, you know what, this wasn't for me.
Mm-hmm.
This video wasn't meant for my eyes, because why?
I wasn't the audience in mind. That's how I wasn't the audience in mind.
That's a nice way of putting it. I just go, it ain't for me. It might be for you, but it ain't for me.
Not for me.
But you know what is for me? It definitely ain't for you. Today's book.
Do you have let's hop into it.
Are you ready to just let this go after this episode and never think about this book again?
Actually, no. I have follow-up questions, but...
Okay.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Well, ladies and gents, don't know why my body decided that we were going to start with an accent. Don't. Today's book was Jay
Butcher and Blackbird
by Bryn Weaver.
Yes.
You okay, buddy?
Yeah, it was I don't want to say it was an acquired taste because that's actually not how I feel at the end of it, question mark.
Yeah.
But
I feel like
it was definitely outside of my wheelhouse though. It was absolutely outside of my wheelhouse, but I'm glad I took the journey.
I just feel like if you had more time to read the book, you could have broken it down and not had so much schmurder all at once. Because y'all, she texted me and said, I just can't do it. It's too much. All right, there's too much Bobby Schmurder in this book.
Yeah.
And I can't handle it. And I can respect that. It's not your vibe.
Yeah.
I think if you had given yourself like 2 weeks to read it, it would have been different.
I don't think so.
You still would have been like, enough.
Yeah, I would have been like, it's enough. It's enough. So
yeah.
Interesting. So it's so funny because I feel like the very first chapter I read the whole like first chapter. My face was like this.
Yo.
Like, I kid you not. I promise you that was my face for the whole first chapter. I was expecting to be more scared and grossed out for sure. And that really wasn't. Yeah, that really wasn't how I digested it. Calling it a comedy is weird to me because I I found it humorous, but I don't know if I would qualify it as a comedy. I don't know if that's what it is qualified as.
It's a dark rom-com, is how she describes it.
Okay, I can see that. Yeah, it has darkness. It was so funny because like the content warnings. And then at the end of the content warnings, it's like, if you don't, like, it has all these things in it. So if you don't like these things, this book is not for you. And I was like, noted. I still have to read it.
Guys, Jay put me to work on this book, all right? So normally, our parental controls stop her from even getting close to a book with trigger warnings, all right? And then we somehow just pushed right past those parental controls and went to the deep end for her. And this month, any book that I felt was like, okay, Jay gonna be mad at me, I would text her and be like, hey, yo, chapter 10.
Yeah.
Chapter 20.
Yeah.
Very far spaced out.
Yeah. And I appreciated every single one of those parental guidance, because I needed every single one.
Oh.
There was like one or two where I was just like, okay, I can see why Chelsie flagged this for me. I was like, I actually really didn't need it, but I was like, but I'm glad she did it though because I knew it was coming.
Well, it was one of those things where I started reading the book, and literally on page 1 I said, "Oh no, she's gonna be mad." I don't even know how to give her warnings at this point. I literally texted her and was like, I don't know how we gonna do this, bro. Yeah. So then I just started texting her chapters that were safe.
Yeah, which was hilarious because it was like there were so few that you were like, yeah, these are safe and everything else is just not.
Chaos. I think at one point I just said, this chapter and this chapter are cool. The end of this chapter, shiitake mushrooms hit the fan. Like,
no, and then you were also like, don't read these at night. And I was like, got it. And it was funny because like I was in a good reading groove. And then like I was reading and I was just like, I feel like something's going to happen. And I had to like go back.
You got the tingles and not the good tingles.
Not the good kind. And I had to go back to our list of like, is this a safe chapter? And then I specifically saw your warning was this chapter and that chapter. Do not read at night. And I said, well, I guess I'm done reading. And I literally just closed. I was like, nope, we're done. Good night.
All right. Now that you've survived it, with a couple of skips in there.
I only skipped like a chapter and a half. And I skimmed through it. So it wasn't like a complete just jump. So I'm very proud of myself. I'm actually very, very proud of myself. Yeah. I made it through.
Listen, the other night when you said you were getting nervous and I had to call you right before bed, like, yo, stop reading. Stop reading now. At that point, I thought you were going to tap out. So I'm very proud of you.
It's actually funny. You know what I ended up doing when you did that? Is I think that was chapter 13 and 14 that you did that for.
Yeah, something like that.
And so I was like, but I want to know what happens. And I was like, but I want to sleep. So what I ended up doing was skipping to 15. Remember you said that like 15, I think through 19 were safe. So I just skipped to 15 and then I went back a page and then I was like, okay, that seems safe. And I went back another page. I was like, okay, this seems safe. Then I went back another page and I was like, oops, something happened. I don't know. And I went back another page. So that's what I did. And then I read from there all the way to 20. Because when you said 20, stuff happens. And I said, okay. And then I was like, okay, I can't go back and read 13, 14. And I can't go forward and read 20. So I was like, I think I'm officially just done reading until the sun comes up. And that's what I did. And then the first thing I did when the sun came up was went back and read 13 and 14. And it filled in a couple of like context clues that I had kind of already picked up from reading 15 through 19. And then I was like, okay, cool. That's what happened there. That's what happened there. And I was like, oh, that was scary. I'm so glad I didn't read it because I would not have gone to sleep. Actually, I think Bryn is the author, right?
Bryn Weaver, yeah.
Yeah. So I actually think that she did a phenomenal job of writing like, I'm going to say like a quintessential horror scene. I don't know if that's not the case, but like when they were in Texas and like the chainsaw guy and like the cellar, like for me, those were all like, these are horror movie things. Like, you know, like it was like you're trapped in the cellar and the guy has a chainsaw. I was like, she wrote a horror movie in the book. And I was like, that's actually kind of cool. I was a little scared though.
Every person that they go after is literally from a scary movie.
Oh. I don't watch scary movies, so I had no idea. That was the only one that was like, oh, you actually reminded me of, no joke, you're going to laugh at me. No, you're going to laugh at me. It reminded me of Courage the Cowardly Dog. The Texas one? That's what it reminded me of.
Aesthetic-wise, yes.
Yes.
Aesthetics-wise, yes. You're not wrong.
Yeah, and then like the chainsaw guy. Do you want me to break it down for you? It was kind of just like, I think I've seen it in like one of the insurance commercials where the chainsaw guy is like, why aren't they running? So I was like, I think he's a horror dude. I don't know.
All right. So victim number 1 is actually modeled after Psycho. At least these are my takes on the book.
Okay. Victim number 1 was West Virginia, which was Hotel Guy, yeah?
Yes, Hotel Guy, yes. So that is, in my mind, Norman Bates from Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho.
Okay.
Which is all about a guy running a hotel who spies on people and makes them disappear.
Got it. That one did make me scared of hotels, and I kind of temporarily forgot about that. And now as you're saying it again, I'm remembering and I'm scared again. Great. Okay, next one.
Jay, if you ever catch yourself in a Fleabag motel like that, I'm coming to snatch you up because something's wrong.
Please and thank you. I will share my location. come
second one. The second one is Thurston, right?
Yes. Is that in California?
With the rich guy and the creepy art.
Yes. Actually, his art was creepy. And I remember I texted you. I was like, is it me or is the art creepy? Yeah, the art was creepy. But
every time the art's creepy.
And it was in California because it was just like the lushness of it. Yeah, I remember that. It was funny. I feel like I remembered all the locations and you were like, I don't know where they are. And I was like, for me, it made a big difference.
Nope. I remember the person, not the location.
Yeah.
So that one is modeled after Hannibal Lecter from Silence of the Lambs.
Because of the canon. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah. I thought I was going to be super creeped out with that one. I actually really wasn't.
No, because it's not disgusting the way they did it for the most part, except for the ice cream.
Yeah. I also really liked how that was actually where we learned about Sloane's map. Like that was like what gave it I was like, oh, I was like, I feel really weird cheering for her, you know, but I was like, she's like legit.
And then the third one, Chainsaw Man, as you've decided, is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
That's why he was in Texas. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. And then
now you know.
Who was the doctor guy from the gala?
I don't know. We never delve into his character, so I don't know.
Oh, okay. I just, I don't know.
All right. So normally I lead the crusade on the book breakdown. Mm-hmm. But I'm gonna let you kind of take the wheel.
Okay.
I don't really like relinquishing control, but I feel like this will be more fun for you to break it down because as the third time reading this, I've literally messaged Bryn about this book before, so don't.
I love that.
I was out here singing "Oh Canada" in her honor, so I figure you've got a more fresh take on this one.
For me, I don't know why, but I think my mind, from the very beginning, like I said, I'm not joking. I read the whole first chapter ugh. But
you also try to start it at night.
No, I started in the daytime.
No. The first attempt at you starting it was at night, and I said, yo, this is not the time. This is not the time. And then you went back.
Oh, yeah. Because when I actually started reading, it was for sure daytime. Yeah, so it was one of those things where, I don't know, I think my mind kind of mentally from the first chapter, because she was like, oh, we're serial deleters that delete other serial deleters. And I was kind of like, okay. So I think in my mind, I was just like, no one gave them permission, but I'm going to just assume that they do have that, So in my mind, I think
permission to do what?
Their hobby. So in my mind, I kind of felt like they were vigilantes, kind of. I was like, they don't have powers, but they are cleaning up the streets.
Did you just turn them into serial and versions of Batman?
Exactly. I think mentally that's how I categorize them. Exactly. But without all the money, and I think they have some money. I still don't super know what Sloane does, but Homeboy has 2 restaurants now, so they got some money.
He's giving out bear energy.
Haven't seen it. I know of it.
Will understand what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. There. Yeah. No, I know of it, but I haven't seen it. So what's up?
I was just gonna start asking you questions about how you felt about Sloane and Rowan's relationship and that beautiful love story.
So there was a lot of time jumps in this. So the story takes place over 4 years? Well, I mean, if you get all the way to the end, I think it's 5 or more, something like that. So it's just it'll be a year later, 6 months later, 3.5 weeks later. And I was just like, where are we in the calendar? And so it was interesting to watch something that had so many integrated time jumps. Because, you know, sometimes it's like epilogue a year later, or sometimes it's like, you know, traumatic thing, and then it's like 3 years later, and then you just pick up, you know, something like that. So it's really interesting to kind of just like read, like even sometimes within a chapter, it'd be like, oh yeah, that was 3 weeks ago, and it's like this, and it's like, oh, okay. So it was really interesting to watch that. I was surprised when it happened. This book gave me the feelies.
Stop! No, it didn't.
It did multiple times. Multiple times.
When he was delivering the food and teaching her how to cook?
Yep, that was one of them. Stop it! I got the feelies multiple times, and I was like so conflicted morally.
What is happening, Dummy?
I was like, Chelsie is a bad influence. But no, I got the feels for them multiple times, to the point where I like wrote down in my notes, like, this is where he fell in love. This is where she fell in love. And then literally, like, one of my notes was like, okay, like, he fell in love here, she fell in love there. And then I was like, but she's not admitted it to herself yet, because it takes her a while. And then literally, like, one of my notes was like, I fell in love with them here. And I was like, I felt the feelings. Oh. And I was like, oh, yeah. So I thought it was really cute. Because of all the time jumps, I had to kind of, like, take notes like that. And so then it just kind of being like, I noted when I felt them feeling things, and then when I felt it for them. And I was just like, oh.
Yeah.
And then, like, I really remember, like, towards the end of the book, and I was just like, I have never seen a red flag man like this before, because red flag run away, but like green flag come back because he's sweet, but then also red flag run away. But it was just one of those things where I'm just like, he's the perfect man for her. Like, multiple times I have in my notes, I was like, I love that they have this thing that bonds them for each other. Yeah. Like, I could never be on a date with this man. Ever! But, like, for each other.
Don't come for Rowan like that.
No, just because of my, like, no.
He literally saved the perfect table for her in both of his restaurants.
After going to a diner with her one time. A diner one time, and he took notes. I was like,
if he wanted to, he
would.
would.
Oh, bro had the whole restaurant designed with her table as the centerpiece. Homegirl had a standing invitation in one of his most popular restaurants.
Telling the whole staff, like, keep an eye out for this girl. This is her description. She's going to look like she doesn't want to be here.
When we discovered the description, it made me realize why the hostess was acting weird the first go around. Because I was like, why is she like that? And then, like, she walked towards the kitchen, and then people came in, and she walked back. And then when we found out later on, I was just like, he literally knew she was going to come, but he's going to be in the kitchen and can't see her, so he gave the notes. Yes. Yeah.
When she gets hurt in Texas, and he's like, oh, we're done with this game.
Yeah.
We're done.
It's done. It's over.
Like,
yeah.
I was like,
also,
we getting here.
Can we just say, the Texas man, his demise, I laughed. And I very much questioned why I laughed. I thought it was the funniest thing. And it was just like, I literally wrote this down, and I was just like, I found that hilarious. I'm concerned.
Well, because it's written as hilarious. She literally uses a skeleton to scare him, and then he, Schmurder man himself, is out here.
His heart said, I can't take it. I'm tapped out. I was just like, I laughed the whole way through, and I was just like, I literally wrote, I was like, this is hilarious, and I'm concerned, because if I was in that situation, I'd be terrified, but I cracked up, and I was like, I need help.
I think normally you're so cerebral.
Yes.
That when reading this book, you had to suspend reality.
Yes. Yeah.
Which allowed you to enjoy some of this chaos. Because, guys, she was literally texting me sometimes being like, I'm actually enjoying this.
Yeah, I was shocked. I was very shocked.
Meanwhile, I was sitting over here sweating, being like, yo, when she gets to this point, she's going to text me and be like, we can't be friends anymore. I don't know.
Like, there were some of the points that you warned me about, and I literally was just like, I found that hilarious. Well, here's the thing. So, yes, I am very cerebral. I've always wanted to break down my brain where, like, I kind of feel like I'm, like, very much so, like, down the middle. half creative, half logistics, right?
Yeah.
And when I'm reading, I really try to read with my creative side. But then there's times, and I mean, you guys hear this even on the podcast, where I'm just like, okay, hold on 1 second. We're like, logistics go, that's not that possible, you know? Which is why I usually read realistic fiction, because it's like, I don't have to jump out of the norm of like, you know, regular societal norms.
Right.
So, like, them literally having a running joke about the FBI the entire way through, I found was hilarious. But I was like, here's the thing. I thought it was hilarious as a reader, but in real life, I was like, this is sad. I was like,
this is a problem.
I was like, she's literally giving you direct hints, and y'all don't even know. And then I was just like, also, and then I had like a little like side rant in my mind. And I was just like, logistically speaking, if the FBI really were to get involved, I was like, they would probably spend all their energy trying to find them, as opposed to trying to like connect the dots of the victim. Because like in the maps, it was showing all the other people that they victimized, and it's like they're gonna spend the time trying to find who did this to them, as opposed to finding out their victims.
Well, I think the whole point was kind of like, this is a giant clue behind the victim, and they haven't even figured out this section.
Yeah.
And this could lead you to me, or to what they did.
Or the other things, yeah.
Which could still lead you to me.
And then I thought it was
figure it
interesting.
out. Although...
Go ahead.
What?
No, go ahead.
Rock, paper, scissors for it?
No. No. Oh, I have a question about that, though. She knew. She specifically said that when they hit with the rules of the game, and that when she saw that rock, paper, scissors was on there, rock is done like 75% of the time. And this is the logistical brains kicking in. Rock is done 75% of the time.
She did it on purpose.
And especially with the man, him being a man, almost always picking rock. She lost on purpose twice. And when I realized that when she said it later on, I was like mad at her about that. I was really mad at her about that. Because, girl, why?
We don't lose. We don't lose.
She won, so, but like, especially when it came to the Texas man's house, it's like, girl, why would, that confused me. And I was just like, I don't know if I'm going to find a logistical answer to this. And I was like, finding out that she knew and lost on purpose irritated me.
All right, check this out. I'm going to break it down for you in the mind of Sloan as best as I can for my reading comprehension.
Okay.
Losing at Texas man's house was really winning, because neither one of them wanted to go find Texas man. They literally stood in the woods and just said, I don't know about this one. They both said, Rowan was just there.
Yeah.
Rowan beat her and still was like, I don't want this win. I'm cool.
Yeah, okay.
So that's why she lost on that one. She said, I'm cool. You go find him. You do it.
I will say this, technically speaking, I think she won that one.
She did, technically.
Yeah, technically speaking, I think she wins.
When they're in bed and they finally have connected, we'll say.
Okay.
She lost on that one because it was the safer way for her to open up.
Yes.
And let someone in.
Yes.
And that was purely what that was. That wasn't like I just made a bad call. It was like, in this moment, this is how I can trick my brain into allowing this conversation.
Yeah. No, I definitely got that one. It was so interesting because you have a woman that is so everything. And is also, like, I think he called her, like, skittish and shy. And I was just like, man, I would never think to describe her that way. But, yeah, she has those qualities. And especially around him, because of her, like, insecurities about, like, their feelings for each other, or her feelings for...
Right.
Her insecurities of his feelings for her, and then her not showing her feelings for him because she wasn't sure about his feelings for her. Of course. This is like every rom-com anyway, but still, it was just one of those things where I was just like, oh, man, there was multiple moments where I felt like gutted. And it was never any of the gory stuff. It was like emotional parts. Like in the restaurant when she showed up the first time and then she just like left. I was like, oh!
Because it's one of those things where, like, if you took out the scary parts, you still have a great romance overall.
Yes, develops really well. I mean, it takes a long time to get there, like 4 years, but
well, they only meet once a year at the beginning of it. Then things kind of go out
after the second
window.
one, though, they text like literally. I think I had a note like, "Y'all texted every day for 6 months." Okay, like just meet up.
But I don't know if he's into me.
Pull up, like come on.
But he did pull up.
He did, hiding behind a tree and a kid. Come on now. Also, super respect for him for just bankrolling little homeboy's PlayStation. As a video game lover, you just gifted that little kid a console, and I respect that.
He said, "Listen, I'm gonna help you out. I need you to help me out because I know that if I show up, I'm gonna get her signature get wrecked sentence." And instead, she not gonna say no to you. So could you just deliver it for me? But those are the moments that made me really fall in love with him.
Them cooking together on the phone. Because here's the thing, and this is actually one of the things that I really appreciate about like you and my other bestie too, is just that like vocally, you can hear the nuance in the voice. Right?
Yeah.
Like, there's multiple times I'll send you something and you be like, try again. I'm like, I said what I said. You're like, nope, try again. So it's like,
y'all be disrespectful with this sometimes though. I'll be like, you just searching for something. Let it go.
I never find them disrespectful. Sometimes I'm like, I don't want you to call me out every time, Chelsie. But no, so for me, it was one of those things where it's just like, this is true. But it was like, when he can like hear her grinning over the phone, I was like, and then, like, when she was like, I'm a horrible cook, except for when we cook together. Ah! Yeah.
I love that you love them because if there's nothing else that you enjoyed about this book, at least we can, like, kiki about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, they are an interesting bunch. And it was a complete story. It was interesting. Because at some part in the book, I was like, I wonder if the book could have ended here and it would have been a complete book. And then I was like, and I remember when I forgot, I'm trying to remember what exact point was it. I think it might have been after the whole rump roast situation. And so it was like after that, it was like another thing happened. And I was just like, I already feel like it's a complete story. And I was like, so this is how I know stuff is going to start popping off. And that's even without checking your note about like, yo, stuff about to start popping off after this. So for me, it was one of those things I was like, man, I kind of feel like this is a complete story. I kind of want it to be done here because it's like happy ever after right now. And I was like, it scares me what's going to come up because it's going to be drastic to disturb like the things that they have established. But I enjoyed it. And I think it was a full complete story.
Oh, for sure. Especially after he opens the second restaurant. That's definitely where you feel like, oh, okay, we could end it here and everything's
that's exactly where
okay.
It was. It was not even like on the table portion, like just seeing the awning. I was like, okay, that's the title of the book. Let's go. And I just knew something was going. I was like, I knew something was coming up. But it was a complete story, and I don't regret that there was the added on portion to it. Like it's a good book. It's so well written. I think we do this enough to know that, like, for me, I like to give an author flowers when they do it right. Like, I've never read Bryn's books. This is my first go around with her. Yeah. I don't know if I will do others just because it is drastically outside of my range.
You're
and
done.
Then also, like, I feel like it's also a strain on you if I make you, like, hold my hand through another book. But the writing of this was like supreme. It was really supreme. Yeah. Like, she took out of the box situations, out of the box characters, like, and created a whole thing that I was rooting for them. Like, was the Tarbites that we were all I was rooting for them, and I was just like, what am I doing? What are we doing here? So yeah,
I am. Like, I am right there with you. The first time I read this, I literally got on Instagram and started singing the Canadian national anthem and tagged her in it because I literally was like, give this woman her props.
That's hilarious.
Give this woman her flowers. Like, I read this as a part of, like, what are they called? Book clubs. But Blackbird just said no. But I read it as part of a book club, and when I tell you that I devoured this book the first time, I mean, I read it on Kindle Unlimited, immediately ordered it from Amazon. Then, when she announced the audiobook was coming out, I bought it, sight unseen. And I have no complaints about this audiobook. Like, from start to finish, there's no complaints about Butcher and Blackbird for me. Like, we're good.
It's really good.
But
it's
I am curious how you felt about the plot twist of David.
So David was where I started to tap out a little bit. And so David, when we met him, grossed me out.
Well, he was eating a special type of cookies and cream. Heavy on the cream.
Also, alternative meats, let's say. Heavy on the cream.
From farm to table with no cooking in the middle.
Yeah, so David's time to shine later on in the book is where I was just like, I can't do it. I was like, listen, y'all, I'm a foodie, and this book has already ruined some foods for me. Surprisingly, it wasn't the ice cream. I actually ate ice cream after reading, and I was like, oh, yeah, it doesn't ruin for me at all. But no, it definitely did ruin a couple other foods for me, and it was really frustrating because 2 of those things are in my fridge and my pantry, and I was like, well, I guess I'm going to have to give these away. So David's moment at the restaurant with Rowan, I was like, I can't do this. I can't. I like to eat. I like to eat out. I can't. You can't.
You're just gonna be going into every kitchen
food.
Like, what's
I was
up?
like, you
what's that
can't.
stain
I was
on
like,
the
you
floor
can't
over there?
ruin stuff for me. I was like, I need to be able to go eat food freely. I can only cook like 4 things well. I need to go out to eat what other people make well. So I was like, I can't do it. So what I ended up doing was skipping. And I want to be clear. What I did, I feel, is different from what I've heard like Book Talk do, where they just like skip because there's too many words. That wasn't why I was skipping. I was skipping because I'm a punk. I would literally start at the top of the page, and then I would jump to the bottom of the page and see if there's anything kind of scary, and then I would kind of like backtrack in the page, and it's like, okay, that's safe. Okay, I know what happened. Next page. And then I would start, and I would do that, and I did that for 2 chapters basically because I was just like, oop, nope, I'm scared. Then for podcast purposes, I had Chelsie. I like grilled Chelsie. I was like, I just want to make sure I know everything that happened because I have the general concept, but I don't have specifics. And then you help fill in the gaps for me.
It was even like as I filled in the gaps, you're like, right, I remember that. I do remember seeing that. So it was like
because I tell you, like I skimmed the page. I didn't read every single word on the page, but essentially I touched every paragraph. So it's like generally speaking, I got like the whole frame, but I just didn't have every single like brush stroke. And that was just like I needed you to just fill in some of those like details.
That's fair.
Yeah. He creeped me out when we met him. And then to find out that he's like a fully capable person who's like a mastermind who is trying not to get it was like, okay, all right.
Listen,
it was.
I just remember reading it the first time and just going, yo, like infinity O's. Just
so you didn't see it coming either?
The first time I read this, no, but there was no way to see it coming.
So interesting enough, so I didn't see it coming, but it's because I don't do plot twists like this. So I feel like every single book we've read on the entire podcast, every plot twist, I'm like, I didn't see this coming. You're like, I saw it from like the very beginning. So I didn't see this coming, and I just assumed it was because I don't know things. But when it did happen, I suspected who it was. And I was actually very proud of myself. And it was I think I was only able to do it though because of a hint that you gave me when I was trying to get you to tell me who the hotel guy was. So you specifically told me, you were like, you meet every person. And I was like, so for me, when Rowan was then held up in the restaurant, I was like, so at first I thought it was the doctor. That's what at first I thought it was.
Ooh,
but then I was just
that would have been a good one.
Yeah, but then I was just like, why would he be there? And then I remember who Rowan saw, and then I was just like, did he just like lose an extra screw and was ready to go off? And I was like, maybe that's it. And but
the final screw got loose.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought happened. But then when I kind of was skimming the pages and I saw that he was like full on talking, I was like, something happened here. I'm missing something. I was like, I'm too scared to go back and find out. And that's why I was like, I gotta skip this because I'm scared.
That's fair. You did say at the beginning of all of this that you had some questions.
Yes.
Did I answer all of them, or do you have more?
No. You answered all my questions for this book. Like, yeah, no, you definitely helped me have a full-fledged experience with this book. My questions are for the next book because I'm too scared to read it, especially given the epilogue. But I still want to know what happens.
Nah. It's... Bryn, don't hate me for this. I'm gonna put it in music terms. You know how that Freshman album is fire?
Yup, I know exactly what you mean.
But that sophomore album really feels just pushed out because the label wants you to put out a follow-up.
Yeah.
That is how a lot of us feel about Leather and Lark. I'm not saying it isn't a good story. Like, it's still cutesy. But part of what we fell in love with in Butcher and Blackbird is the schmurder and the rom-comminess to it all. Whereas, like, we didn't get that in book 2.
Got you. Yeah.
It felt like it was a book from a different series. But I'll tell you what happens later, not on the pod.
Oh, yeah, no, I know. We gotta, yeah. No, but can we just have a quick little, like, moment for Lark? Lark pulled on my heartstrings, too, as a friend. I thought she held Sloaney down. 10 toes down. Like, oh, my gosh. And also, like, to find out, like, what bonded them together and, like, how they met and everything like that. Like, it was just, like, it was such a found family kind of situation, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like, oh my, get you a Lark, man. Like, I don't know, like, I know that doesn't make sense out of context, but, and here's the thing, I read it, and it was like one of the reasons why I got emotional. It was just like, because I feel like I have Larks in my life, and I love that, and it was just one of those things where I was just like, I love that Sloan gets to a sensation of, like, the things I have in terms of the friends in my life, and I had a whole moment. I was like, I need a moment before I keep reading.
No, because it's even like when Rowan breaks up with her to protect her from David. Lark is on the phone confused, like
that
Rowan
man
broke
loves
up with
you.
her.
Like, yeah.
She said, "Are you sure that's what he said?
Yeah.
Let's talk this one out."
And then her doing that was able to have Sloan have the freeness of mind to, like, wait, that doesn't make sense. Yeah. And then even, like,
the friendship to be like, oh, you're changing your flight, I'm changing my flight, no questions asked. Yeah. We'll go home together.
Yes, yeah.
Lark.
Get you a Lark. And then also, like, the little surprise, like, wedding at the end. Oh. Are you serious? It's how it ends.
I'm trying to make sure that I don't confuse book 1 and book 2
book
now.
2. Okay, that makes sense. Okay,
so
that
can
makes
you
sense.
explain the surprise wedding to me?
So Sloan, Lark, and Anna, which I still don't super understand Anna's role. I think maybe she's just a female friend, and that was like a point of contention, I guess, initially. Because I was like, I thought like that she doesn't work for the restaurant. I thought she was friends with Larklin. No, what's his name? Lachlan. But anyway, so it was Sloan, Anna, and Lark. They take a drive. I forgot where they went, but they take a drive up. They're in Boston and they go up.
It can be so many states, but continue on.
They go up and they have like a little like vacation, spa day, girl day, whatever. And like Larkin, and it's like, would you want to do your wedding here? And she's like, yeah, but like, I'm not sure if it's gonna be good for like him or all these logistics. I need to figure it out. And then she's just like, no, would you want this to be here? Would you like it here? And she's like, yeah, I think I would. And then like homeboy pulls up. I thought that was really sweet. I thought that was super sweet.
Yeah. When you said wedding, I was thinking of something else. But I'm following.
Okay, yeah. No, as a person that wants a really, really, really small wedding, I thought that was really cute because like the logistics of it were stressing her out. And he literally did one of yours. Don't worry about it. I got it. Just go.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah. So Oh, I'm surprised you haven't mentioned it yet. You had hand necklaces galore. Where's your face look like that?
This was one of those books where I was like, yo, she's gonna read it and just be like, who is my friend?
Oh, I didn't get that at all.
No judgment, no shade, but just like, do you need holy water? What's going on here?
No, I didn't get that at all. No, the only thing for me that I was like, I need help was like when I found stuff that is like very not okay in the normal society. And I was like, ha 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 ha. I was like, oh,
listen,
gosh.
The smutty aspect of this book,
Okay.
the first time I read it, when I tell you, I literally had it on my Kindle and I was like, no one can know what I am reading right now.
That's hilarious.
Because Rowan's behavior after Texas Man and he takes Sloane to his brother to get checked out.
Mm-hmm. Having a
When he
doctor and a
finally
family
says
in that line of work is probably like super smart.
Beautiful. I am excited for his book because his book is the last book. But when he said, "You're mine, my girl," and then proceed to lay it down, I literally was like, "Oh, okay." And then when they're working on the dessert menu for the new restaurant, and he said, "We gonna figure it out," and I literally said, "Babe."
He was like, "We need all the taste buds activated." I said, "Girl, you better pick a fruit." No, the thing for me, it was actually back at the house. They were like, the cat will get mad, and then he was like, "You are not allowed to hide any sounds from me." And then she's like, "No, the cat's gonna get
Yo. I said, it is what it is. You either heard or you didn't.
Listen. Also, like, I kind of love that Sloane kind of like rescued things along the way. So on the first stop, it was Winston the cat, and then on the second stop, it was David the innocent bystander. So yeah, I thought that was really funny how she was like, "Oh yeah, we're just like collecting things from our adventures."
She was like, "I take trinkets."
Yeah, it's
but
literally
even
just, like,
Rowan after like the first time, was like, "Yo, I want to take something to remember this by," and I was like, "You in deep, bro. You in deep."
Yep. Yeah. It was good. Listen, the feelies snuck up on me. They snuck up on me. In the both like the like, oh my
So
god, they're
happy.
in love way, and then also like, oh my god, I feel what they're feeling way. And then also in the like, oh way. So like Brit had me going on the roller coaster of emotions on this one.
So now that Bryn has put you on the roller coaster and you understand the roller coaster that I've been on,
yeah,
what you giving it? What'd you tell Storygraph?
4 stars.
Because I know Storygraph was like, "Are you lost?
I was
sure you want to read this?"
No. I was cracking up because if you look at like my Storygraph like analytics, it is so blatantly like podcast books stand out like crazy on my list. It makes me laugh so hard. 4 stars. 4 stars. As soon as I felt the feelies, I was like, it can't be lower than a 4. It can't be lower than a 4. I got feelies. I can't control feelies. So when feelies come, you gotta rock with it.
You gotta go with the feelies.
Yeah. And it's interesting because, you know, like for me, rereading is like a very high quality on my like ratings. I'm torn if I'm gonna reread it. Because I want to, but I don't know if I can. And then if I do, I'm absolutely going to have to like choose your own adventure because I cannot read this cover to cover again. It's interesting because I'm just like, I want to because there's moments I definitely want to revisit, but I'm just like, I think I might just have to like put this in the vault of like a special edition and just be like, you experienced it. No need to go back, but just know that it was there.
I think now that you know what to expect out of it, rereading it won't be the same terrifying, nerve-wracking sort of experience.
Yes, because like literally when they were like coming up on like finding the person, I was like something's happening, like, like, I was feeling all of, like, I think even Sloane and Rowan, I think in their own, like, in their own, like, POVs, they were like, oh, I feel like shake my arm out because, like, I'm excited. And it was just like, even their characters had that kind of extra energy going through them. So I was just like, yeah, that's how I felt reading it. And I was just like, oh, I'm too, like, chest up. Like, I don't like
adrenaline.
This. So, yeah, no, that's exactly what it felt like, drinking coffee. And I don't drink coffee. And I was like, oh, I don't like this. So now that I know what's happening, I probably could stomach it more. I'm for sure just going to skip the first 3 chapters, and then, like, I would jump in, and then I think I would bypass Texas again, and then I'm thinking about it, and, like, the parts I'm gonna carve out, I'm just like, I think I'll just remember Rowan and Sloane in my heart, and they can live there and be happy there.
That's fair. You know, I do have to say, my little PAB has grown up. Just a little bit.
I'm proud of you.
Parental controls go back on at midnight, so soak it up while you can.
Oh, I'm running back to a fluffy book tonight.
So I gave this a 5 stars the first time I read it. I gave it a 5 stars the second time I read it. I would give it a 4.5 this time, but only because I read it in your eyes and not mine.
Okay.
So that definitely changed some of it. I also was in my mood reader vibes where I was just like, I don't really want to read this right now. I want to read new spooky things.
Yeah.
But still great adventure. I still love Rowan and Sloane. You know, the happiness.
It was an experience. I totally, like, I remember when you were, like, raving about this before, and I was just like, okay, friend, enjoy.
I don't get it.
But now I get it. Oh my God, I get it. I want to be friends with Sloane. Well, and Lark. You gotta have a Lark, but I feel like I already have Larks in my life. I would like to be friends with Sloane. She seems like a cool girl. And I'm a good, upstanding citizen, so I'll be safe from her. But, yeah, I would want her to be, like, a friend. She's cool.
Yeah. Any final thoughts as we wrap up spooky season? I'm going to go cry in the corner when we're done, but any final thoughts?
I want to thank you because you pushed me out of my comfort zone and I read 4 books that were an experience. Like, I'm not kidding. I enjoyed the journey. I am appreciative that the fact that it's over, but I appreciated the journey. Like, these are 4 titles these are 4 titles for authors that were in no way on my radar and were not going to be on the list. And I went through them. I enjoyed the process. I enjoyed some of the books as a whole. So I'm going to thank you because I feel like you really held us down for spooky season. And so thank you for bringing me on the journey.
And now we enter into your side of things with the holiday books.
Yee. Interesting because I don't even feel like I did like my usual picks. Like, I think not all of them, but I was like, most of them are all new for both of us. So
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of them that came from recommendations from the internet. There's, I think, one of them is yours. And we will finally reveal who this mysterious Acacia is.
Yeah.
And then there's one from me where I just know that you are going to read it and just go, his hand, and then they did what with tinsel? And I can't wait
for
that moment.
Yeah. No, but I'm excited. I feel like every episode is a new adventure. We just gotta dive in.
Yeah. In the meantime, guys, thanks for watching. I don't really quite know how to pick the villain.
I'm not gonna pick a villain. This. I'm gonna say, make sure you keep the Larks in your life. That's what I'm gonna say.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I will say, don't be a Thorsten. Because number one, you know you got a problem if I remember your name, boo boo. But also cherish the larks in your life, those ride or die friends.
Appreciate your larks. Yeah.
I got one of my larks here on the podcast, so I'm gonna go ahead and sign off and say,
wait, am I doing the right
have a
part?
good one.
I forgot how old I am.
We're doing the millennial one.
I forget how old you are when you do the ones. I forget. All right,
I'm
y'all.
gonna do this one. We're out. Have a good one, guys.
Bye.
Bye.